All right, ladies and gentlemen, Gary Shamel back with yet another reaction. This reaction is quite long. The video is 58 minutes. I do not plan on going all 58 minutes, maybe unless it is extremely interesting. But regardless, the link to the original video will be below if you feel like you want to watch the whole thing. I just want to get into the premise of it, chop it up, say a little something, something, share some interest with you guys as to things that I am interested in, pick up on what you're interested in. Please also like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to get into some really, really good, gritty, greasy things. All right. I love interrogation procedures. I also love comedy. So those are going to be my two types of reactions mostly. Um, and of course, there's going to be my podcast episodes that get uploaded every Sunday, unless I feel like I need to take a break from real life, which happens for people sometimes, right? And I got my phone over here vibrating. But nonetheless, let's get into this video and see what's going on.
This is Amelia and her husband Joshua, and they were arrested in 2018 for bank fraud, theft, taking advantage of the elderly, and double homicide. They were brought in for questioning, and the detectives decided to speak with Amelia first.
Is there something that criminals get where they're like, is there a memo that gets sent out that says when you take your mugshot, look like this? I don't know. I've never taken a mugshot, so I don't know if you get a memo. If you know if you get a memo, comment down below and let me know.
Hoping to get a confession before speaking with her husband.
So you went to Valencia. Did you get associates?
Yeah.
You get
business management.
business management? Yeah. Start your own business one day?
I'm a dance instructor, so.
Oh, okay. So you work for Chase. Okay. How long you work for Chase for?
December will be 3 years, I believe. Or 4 years. I'm not sure. 4 years.
Any issues while you're working at Chase?
No. I got a write-up recently.
You did?
Yeah.
What happened?
Amelia has a 7-year-old child, and she lives with her husband Joshua, who is not the father of the child. She worked as a banker at the local Chase Bank branch in Orlando, Florida. Amelia had many clients who came to her for their banking needs, and one particular client that she had was a very old but very rich man who suffered from dementia. His name was Gerald Stack.
It's like all the right things in the universe just kind of collided all at the right time. Dementia client, somebody who's very financially savvy, somebody who's in the business. Let's keep going.
I issued 2 checks for a customer, and I got a write-up for like they went in the branch.
Okay.
But other than that, I've been okay at work. I'm with the boss. Always at the boss.
Alright. So, Amelia, I can tell you the reason why we're here today is because of that issue at the bank. Okay. Alright? Does that surprise you?
For this type of situation, yeah.
Okay.
Like this intense. I mean, I got in trouble at work, which makes sense, but I'm just thinking about that.
Well, let's walk through it a little bit, okay? Let's walk through that and see how maybe we came here today, all right, and find out if this was just a misunderstanding or what, okay? So, what was the name of the customer?
The name of the customer was Lawyer, my attorney. Remember that.
Gerald?
Okay.
Mr. Gerald.
You know his last name?
Stack, I think.
How long did you know him?
Oh, wow, yeah. Since I moved here, actually. Since last year, I'm sure we worked.
And how did you meet him?
At the bank.
Yo, for real, I knew him after I hired my attorney. Foot stomp for anybody watching this video. I'm just saying.
Those that met Amelia would say she seemed like a friendly, innocent woman who loved her job and her clients. She would go out of her way to help them in any way she could, and they even had her personal cell phone number, just in case they needed something. But Amelia wasn't as innocent as everyone thought she was. Amelia and Josh both liked having money and nice things, and when they figured out a way to scam one of Amelia's clients out of a large amount of cash, they did exactly that.
So how did you? What happened with this write-up? So I mean, had you been a banker for him for a while? I mean,
Yeah, so I've been his banker since I moved here.
did you? Okay.
Since we moved here.
So what happened with these checks?
Nothing. He called him and sold record over global security.
Mm-hmm.
So when they came in, they pulled like call logs, they pulled like cameras just to make sure like little signature files. Because I mean, it's still federal, it's the bank. So they wanted to make sure that I wasn't like, I guess, stealing.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to like do this whole like, track record and contact him, make sure that like he did give me permission to go ahead and pull this money out of the account to write these 2 checks out.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. I mean, that happened since March. That was.
When you talk to Gerald, I mean, how did he appear to you? Is he a young guy, old guy?
He's old.
Well, how did he appear to you when you talked to him?
Okay.
He was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever have any issues when you talked to him about remembering things or anything like that?
No, he told me he had brain. Like I know like a little about himself. Like he had brain surgery.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, he remembers.
Stop talking. They're trying to see if he was under duress or if he had like medical issues. If you knew that stuff, I don't know. I have no clue. I just did what the man told me. But after I talked to my lawyer, that's what I was. Come on, people.
Things, like he forgets it. He's a little frantic sometimes because he gets like, I don't know, like just frantic. That's it. Like he like when he talks to me, he always brings up like stories about like his kids and I don't know, like traumatic things that happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. I mean, that's really the only time I see him like ever like frantic. But other than that, he's
okay. Yeah, nice guy. But so he didn't seem like he was ever confused or forgot things or anything like that.
I mean, sometimes the other bankers too. He actually has a note on his account that like he does stuff and then he forgets. But that's usually like brain surgery. So like one time he had written a check for somebody and he called me and he told me to cancel it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he called me back and he was like, no, let it go through.
Okay.
So I mean that's like an example of him. Like,
how long before all this happened did that happen?
Oh, that was January, February.
It's about a month or two before.
Yeah, maybe January or February.
See, you know what I'm recognizing about these white collar criminals? A lot of these people, they get this paper behind their name that shows they walked across the stage and they completed however much time they put behind that degree that they successfully earned. And then they go to commit these white collar crimes because they're so educated, right? Or they believe they're so educated and that they're so open minded that their brains fall out their heads. And they begin to think that they're smarter than the system and their brains are on the floor. And they have all types of oversight onto everything that's going on around them. They may be successful at these crimes for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then people start catching on and realizing that something isn't right. And then you get caught, and then you get into the interview room and you tell on your own self. You don't even realize that you're telling on yourself. Just giving information. Yeah, there was a thing on his account that said that sometimes he does things and forgets. But you just told them that he was normal. Let's keep going. She's already aggravating me.
I mean, that's like an example of him. Like,
how long before all this happened did that happen?
Oh, that was January, February.
It's about a month or two before.
Yeah, maybe January or February. I can't remember too much, but I think it was around that time.
Comes a little ad. Oh man, I can already tell. She's gonna give it up. She's gonna give up the goods. Hubby in trouble. She in trouble.
$25,000 from Jerry.
Let's bring it back.
Maybe January or February. I can't remember too much, but I think it was around that time.
In March of 2018, Amelia drafted 2 checks, both for $25,000 from Gerald's account, and made those checks out to a member of her family. After they were cashed, Joshua opened 2 bank accounts at a Bank of America branch and deposited the money into them. Amelia would continue caring for the old man, looking for ways to get more money from his accounts and put it into hers.
I guess I get confused because didn't you tell me the grandson came in and picked up the checks the next day? You've never been arrested before, is that correct?
No, sir.
You have a 7-year-old son, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Let me explain something to you, Amelia. All right. People do things sometimes, especially money. Money makes people do crazy things, right? Let's be real, okay? We've talked to Gerald, all right? Gerald can't barely tell you what day it is, okay? So, and anybody who talks to him should know that. So if he asked you to do that, there's 2 things. There's 2 problems we have here, isn't there? Let's start talking. Let's agree with each other. There's 2 problems, don't you think?
Okay.
I think your best bet right now is to be completely honest with us, okay?
Okay.
So let's go on a little bit more, okay? But the truth is going to be the best thing right now. Let's go on a little bit more, okay? Do you know what branch? Okay. So
I didn't.
this happened in May.
My write-up for it and
Is the account still open?
the father.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
No. Do you know any of Gerald's family members?
I know his grandson. He came to open the account.
What's his name?
I don't remember. I know they have the same last name.
Okay.
So this is all electronic too. So there's a record of everything. It's like taking an Excel spreadsheet. Every time a transfer or something happens throughout all of these banks, and they put your number, your account number, your name, the date that something happened, the amount that was taken out. It's all registered in one database. She worked there. She was a business major. She should have known exactly how it was going to work. But again, another example of somebody that had all of this education behind them and was dumb as a bag of damn doorknobs or whatever, however dumb she was. Dumb, stupid. And what's funny is everybody looked at her and thought she was all cute and bubbly, and I promise you they just took care of her and gave her everything she wanted throughout her whole life, so she never thought that she would end up here. Let's go.
And did you know him before that?
No, I only met him through the grandfather. And I know he has a daughter. His daughter's name is Cindy. She had called me.
She called you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What did she call you about?
I think last week. Was it last week Monday or the week before? She had called me about her dad's account.
What did she say?
They had went into the branch for like a transaction history, and they were just calling me to confirm about the funds, about like what's going on. And
Cindy called you? She called you at work?
Well, yes, at work. She was at that branch in Americana.
Joshua and Amelia believed that they had gotten away with the theft until a relative of their victim, his daughter, Cynthia Stack, began looking into her father's transactions. Amelia was unaware that they were looking into his accounts and contacting the bank as they tried to figure out where the money had gone.
Yo, she don't play. You could look at her face and say that woman don't play. Just look into her eyes and tell me what it is you see.
Amelia would be contacted by Cynthia and questioned as to where the money had gone. This scared Amelia, so she told her husband what was going on and that she feared that she would lose her job. Joshua told his wife not to worry, that he would take care of the problem.
But the thing is,
Hold on, let me make sure I understand. So she called you, so the branch that she was at called you at your branch?
At my branch and at my cell phone.
Well, they called both?
I believe so, yes. I think it was my desk phone. They called me at my desk. And I spoke to her over the phone. And she was just going through her dad's transaction history.
Okay. And what did she say to you?
Talking too much.
She asked about the checks. That was really it. So
and you told her you were going to talk to her when you got home?
Yeah, because I can't talk when I'm at work. I can't talk about the situation I was at work.
Tell me about the conversation you called her when you got home.
Well, yeah, I spoke to her when I got home, but there's just certain information I'm not allowed to give her because there's no other name on the account besides the father.
Well, technically, you're not supposed to be talking on the cell phone with a client or
Well, yeah.
customer anyway, right?
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
So,
So
you're not worried about that. You were just worried about giving her information about Joe.
exactly.
So what did she ask you about?
She was just asking me about the transaction history on the account, but I'm trying to let her know that I can't. She was asking about that.
Did you do that?
Yes.
Were they at the branch for that?
Sean was, yes.
Sean was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, what else? What else did you guys talk about on the phone?
That was really it. She just kept calling me about the whole transaction.
She kept calling you? How many times did she call you?
She called me.
She called me after I called my lawyer. Stop playing.
When did she call me? She called me that day.
Mm-hmm.
She called me the day after. And then I think she skipped a day and called me one day after that as well.
This is all on your cell phone?
Yes, my cell phone.
Do you think that's unusual?
For her to call me so often? Yes, because she wasn't calling me before at all.
So how many times in total do you think she called you?
Probably about 3 or 4 times. She had missed me and she texted me and she told me if I can give her a call. And then she called
Texted
me.
you?
Mm-hmm. And then she called me once.
Are those text messages still on your phone?
Yeah.
Joshua went to a local pawn shop and purchased a gun. He claims his intentions were to go to Cynthia's apartment and ask her not to press charges. If Cynthia would not listen to reason, his plan was to scare her with the weapon. However, Joshua would leave Cynthia's apartment after not only taking her life, but the life of her 22-year-old son, Sean Stack, as well.
And this is where I get lost. I mean, follow me here. So he comes in open account and he transfers 10,000 over, right?
Yes.
So why does he have to take 50,000 out to get to you to hold on to when he could just transfer 10,000 over like
Well,
that?
the thing is, at the time of, he didn't want to give him the full funds.
Right, but Gerald's not spending a lot of money. Let's be real. I've
No,
looked at his
he's
account.
not.
He's not spending a lot of money, right? No. So he can leave 50. He's got well more than 50,000 in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he can leave 50,000 in there
Mm-hmm.
and not spend it. He doesn't. It's not like he's spending money like it's going out of style.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't have to give you money to hold on to, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make any sense.
But that's what he did, though.
No, but here's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it's not like I don't want to do it. Okay.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Did you take advantage of that old man?
I didn't take advantage of this.
Then let's get it right, okay?
But I don't want to say I took advantage of him, no.
What did you do then? I think you need to start understanding something, okay? I think you need to start understanding the severity of the situation, all right? Because I don't know if you really do, all right? And I think you need to start understanding that how this interview goes and what decisions you make here are going to affect your life for a long, long, long time, okay? I think you think that you had this all planned out, and I think and again, not to say it in a bad way, but this is what we do. Okay, when we make mistakes, we figure things out and we go, okay, all right, there's a lot more going on here, all right? And you know whose name is all over this right now? You, all right? And Joshua, okay? So if there's things that are going on and it's not you or Joshua, you need to start thinking real hard and real fast, okay? Who is involved in this and what happened, okay?
That's all I know.
Okay.
On July 18th of 2018, a neighbor noticed that the door to Cynthia's apartment was open and had been for several days. After knocking on the door, she decided to step in and see if anyone was home. That's when she found Cynthia lying on a futon in the corner of the apartment. Her son would be found by police in another room. They were both pronounced deceased at the scene.
Things got out of hand. Okay, this got out of hand. I think what happened was Cindy was asking you for this money back, and you didn't have it, and there's some issues there. Okay, and things get out of hand. Sometimes, again, when we make a mistake, we do something wrong, and the ball gets rolling, and we can't stop it. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, listen, you have your whole life ahead of you.
I know.
You have a 7-year-old son.
That's why I learned.
Well,
I
no,
think the money
this
needs
is
to get-
no. Listen to me for a second. This is reality now. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
You have a 7-year-old son. You have an obligation to him. Okay? So, whatever happened beyond this, all right, we need to know. Because right now, we need to know. Because if you want to keep going with what you're telling us, okay, then we're going to have to go on that, all right? And you have to understand.
Yeah.
Okay? So somebody did something, we need to know now. You can't wait till later on. Okay? So tell me what happened. Who did you talk to about this? Who did you tell about Cindy not stopping? Because she was continuing calling you. You're saying, who did you talk
She
to about
called
it?
me. She doesn't
Okay,
continue.
who did you talk to about it
My
besides Josh?
husband's the only one that knows.
Did Josh do something that he wasn't supposed to do?
Not that I know of.
Is it possible?
No.
Man, look, it goes like this. You get in that interview room, and the first thing they do is they say, all right, sit down. You're going to be right here. Do you want water? Something like a little snack, like whatever. Are you comfortable? No? All right. Somebody will be in here to talk to you in a second. After that, somebody walks in. Then they say, we just want to ask you a few questions, but first and foremost, before we ever start asking a question, not that we're suspecting you of anything right now, but we need to talk to you. You have the right to remain silent. Anything that you say can be used against you, will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. You have the right to have an attorney present. What else do they say? And you can stop the interview at any point in time. If you ask to have an attorney, we're not allowed to ask you any more questions. They break down all of that. Then they ask you, do you understand? Everybody always says yes. And then questioning does not commence. How was your day? What did you do today? What did you eat? I ate blah, 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 blah. I'm interested in this. I see you have on a Giants jersey. The Giants suck. I'm a Bengals fan. Blah, 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 blah. Well, let's talk about the night of the 23rd. Then it starts. By then, you're all relaxed and you're giddy and they was chilling with you and da-da-da-da-da. And then you start to get manipulated from there. Just letting you know how it rolls.
After a thorough investigation by police, Amelia and Joshua were brought in for questioning. At this point, the police had a warrant for Amelia because their investigation had uncovered Amelia's bank fraud crimes. The police did not have enough evidence to charge either Amelia or Joshua with anything further, and they would need a confession in order to do that.
They would need the confession in order to do that. That's the exact reason why I'm going to keep foot stomping this. I don't care if it's getting on your nerves. Somebody needs to hear it. Especially people that's out there that really honestly did nothing, and you've got dirty games that's being played, because that always happens. This isn't for the criminals. If you're a criminal, go ahead and tell everything, right? I mean, sometimes you may have moral crimes, but whatever. We're not going to get there on that.
The detectives decided to speak with Amelia first, in hopes that they could get a confession from her.
Did you ever talk with him about these inquiries that you were getting from Cindy?
Yeah.
Okay, so he knew that they were asking about it.
No, he knew about it.
Well,
he knew about the situation in general.
What was his response to it? What was he saying when you told him, "Hey, Cindy's asking questions about this"?
Okay, he was just like, why? Like, what does she want to know? And he's normally there when I talk to her sometimes. So.
But I would imagine, like, for two people like you that have never been in trouble in your lives, that's going to cause you some stress, wouldn't it? Because, like, hey, did she ever say that she was going to call the police or call Chase or make any threats about that? And besides, like, the gun that he bought last week, had he made, like, any other big purchases? Like, oh, is he spending the money on this or that?
He bought all those appliances at home.
When was that?
A couple weeks, like a month ago.
Oh, okay.
That was the last thing I saw him buy, like, big.
Are you scared, Josh?
No.
If he did something wrong that put your son and your son's future and your future in jeopardy, would you tell us about it?
Of course.
Okay.
And I want y'all to notice something else,
The
right?
detectives...
Look at how she's sitting, right? Normally when you're sitting forward, like I am right now, and you're open, you're interested in what's going on, right? The psychology behind it, though, she's not just sitting forward. She's got her arms like this, so she's closed in. It appears that her legs are also kind of crossed, so she's definitely closed in, but she's also making herself appear a lot smaller in this interview room. And she's becoming the innocent, meek, I don't really know what's going on, blah, 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 blah. Don't, I'm not the bad guy here. All I was doing exactly what he wanted me to do. What's going on? I'm answering your questions. Just don't get me in trouble. Because she needs to appear smaller, especially to the probably a lot bigger male that's in the room. Because she's used to everybody looking at her thinking that she's this cute little bubbly little innocent woman and nothing. She's never going to do anything wrong. That's another issue with the believe all women concept. But
Believe that Joshua is responsible for what happened to Cynthia and Sean. Their goal is to get as much information as they can from Amelia before interrogating her husband. Amelia has confessed to taking advantage of Jared, so the detectives move forward with questions concerning her husband. They are careful to not outright accuse Amelia of the crimes, because she has been very cooperative so far, and they don't want to risk her asking for a lawyer.
Well, this is the stuff we need to know. Listen, if he put you up to it, he put you up to it. That's okay. We need to know these things now. Again, like Detective Murray said, I think you're kind of at this crossroads right now, okay? You've got Josh, who you probably love, and he's your husband, okay? But you also have Julian. And you got to picture that little boy. You got to picture not being able to watch him grow up. Think about that for a second. Think about being put somewhere very far away from him, and the only way you're going to have contact with him is through letters. You're going to get pictures in jail, in prison, of your little boy growing up.
now they're trying to tug at her heartstrings. Look, I need you to think of something real quick. I need you to think of your son. I need you to think of you not being able to spend time with him, not being able to raise him, not being able to see him. They're not telling her that she committed a crime already. They're not even telling her that from what she's already stated to them, that she's already admitted that she committed a crime. They're not telling her any of that. They're making her focus not on how she can continue to get away with it. They're bringing her attention to a possibility that she could spend time in prison for the rest of her life. And now she's starting to tear up. At that point, she should have said, yes, you're right. Where's my attorney?
That's your future. He's going to grow up with his grandparents, maybe? Who knows? Maybe Matthew's grandparents, maybe Matthew's parents, maybe somebody else will try and take him away from them. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. No, we're not saying we're going to take your kids away from you, okay? Now's the time, all right? You got to start thinking long and hard who you have loyalty to. If Josh screwed up, he screwed up. That's not on you. And anything you know about that, we need to know about. He messed this up. He did this. He did this. And I don't want to go in there and have him tell me that you told him to go do it. Do you understand this? This whole thing. I'm talking about everything. We can't do this anymore. Now's the time. Tell us what he did. So you can look at your son and say, I did the right thing in the end. What did he do?
They bring Amelia to tears as they tell her that she must choose between her husband and her son. Detectives love using the emotional feelings of a suspect against them, and even the hardest of criminals can be brought to tears by the thoughts of their son or daughter.
I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to.
Listen, you have to trust us. Okay?
I don't want to get in trouble for
We know
any
you
of
didn't
this.
do this. We know
I don't
you
want to get in trouble for any of this.
What did he
Nothing
do?
to do with
What
me.
did he do?
I don't know the severity of what he did,
What did he do?
but he knows the relationship that I have with Mr. Stack. He knows that. I mean, I would take him food, like,
Listen to me.
so at a point he would get upset with me that, like, I'm too nice, that I can't. Well, I mean, I talked to him because, you know, he's my husband. I talked to him.
Did Josh say that you kind of were owed this money because you were taking care of this guy?
I don't know if he said that, but
Something like that? What did he tell you?
I don't want to get in trouble. I didn't do anything.
Okay. We need to know. Well, then tell us, okay? Tell us.
I don't know what he did. That.
What do you okay?
You
What do you think he did?
That's it. I don't want to get in trouble. I didn't do anything. Boom. There's nothing more they can ask you. I didn't do anything. Well, you need to tell us. Tell you what? I didn't do anything. And then she goes to, I don't know what he did. Well, did he do something?
I don't think he did anything.
It's very obvious to the interrogators that Amelia knows what happened, yet because she believes that if she claims she did not know anything at all, she will be fine in the end. She hints to them that her husband had motive and opportunity, but refuses to say anything more. She continues to say that she does not want any part of what happened, which means that she knows exactly what happened, but she wants the detectives to go talk to her husband so he can take the blame for everything.
You're all over their stuff talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
You took money from their father. This was not an amicable, let's talk about this.
No, of course, yeah. I don't, that, whoa. I don't know if she just wanted to keep contact.
Amelia, here's my problem, okay? When we find out, if we find out, this is how you get in trouble for murder.
Me?
Yeah, let me explain it to you, okay? Let me explain it to you. This is how you get in trouble for it, okay? If we find out in any stretch of the imagination, in any way, shape, or form, that you're providing some type of alibi to Josh, that you're telling us he was somewhere where he wasn't, that you're lying to us about where he was, what you know, what you don't know, about the gun, about any of it. If we find that out, guess what you become?
I don't know.
You become a principal. Principal to homicide in the first degree.
My biggest thing right now is I need to know that I'm going home. I need to know that I'm going to see my son. I need to know that I have no part of this whatsoever.
If you didn't know he was going to go over there and do that, then that's fine.
I have no. I mean, are you guys asking him these questions too?
I need to hear from you first, okay? What I need to know, what I need to make sure is, listen, you don't want me to go in there and him tell me, guess what? I went over there. She gave me the address. She told me to go over there and take care of the problem. You understand that? What if he says that?
I didn't do anything. I didn't even know.
Right. So
oh
listen.
my God.
I want to hear it from you first, so when I do talk to him, I can say that's not true. But I need the absolute truth from you, because if I don't have that, I need a way to believe you. You understand that?
They give it one last try to get a confession from Amelia before talking to her husband. She acknowledges that something has happened, yet continues to maintain that she has no knowledge of what that is. If they fail to get a confession from her, they will move on to her husband Joshua, who is seated in the next room.
No.
When the SWAT team hit your house, we're collecting evidence. Let me just tell you right now, just so you know, okay? If we find out that you knew about this murder, contributed to it anyway, knew about it before or after it happened, you're going to be charged with first-degree murder, and that is life in prison, even if you didn't pull the trigger, okay? So what Detective Ferreira has been more than patient with you, talking to you about is, don't let us leave the room with you holding something back. Because if the evidence shows it, and somebody plays this tape for people that are going to decide what's going to happen to you in the future and the relationship you're going to have with your son, and they're going to sit in there and they're going to, that woman sat there and lied to Detective Ferreira for hours and hours, knowing what had happened. And that is going to compound this issue. I know you don't want to get into trouble. It's too late for that, okay? It's too late for that. You were right in this thing. We firmly believe that you didn't go over there and kill these people. We'll be perfectly honest with you. That's not what we think. But if the evidence shows that you knew about it ahead of time, if you provided your husband with their address even.
Man, just pay attention to how they're digging into her. The way they're just digging into it. If we find out that you had anything to do with it, if the evidence shows that you provided the address and we can expunge all of that. We can throw all of that out of the window and you won't have anything to do with it. If you just say that he did it, he did all of it. One of the biggest things about how dirty the court system is something called immunity, right? You can receive immunity from being able to talk about or being involved in a murder case. If you were there when a murder happened, you can receive immunity if you agree to say that the person that they suspect committed the murder actually went and committed the murder. You could have been the one to pull the trigger. But if the police are firmly after a very specific individual and their minds aren't even on you, all you got to do is get granted immunity and say, yeah, I was on scene and I saw so and so pull the trigger, and make it a lavish story and just stick to it. What they're doing is they're giving her an out. They're giving her a form of immunity. Now, we don't know if she gave him she had to have given him an address. She had to have given him an address for him to know where her clients lived at. We ain't stupid. Let's go back just a little bit.
Knowing what had happened. And that is going to compound this issue. I know you don't want to get into trouble. It's too late for that, okay? It's too late for that. You were right in this thing. We firmly believe that you didn't go over there and kill these people. We'll be perfectly honest with you. That's not what we think. But if the evidence shows that you knew about it ahead of time, if you provided your husband with their address even.
Well, I'm
stuff
more
that you know about.
I'm just more concerned about myself.
Sure.
For my parents' sake, for my child's sake,
Sure.
I do not want to go to jail. I don't. Like, if I get fired, okay, let me get fired at work, but I don't want to go to jail. I didn't do anything. I didn't plan anything. I didn't conspire anything. I didn't do anything. I don't want to go to jail.
Like Detective Murphy said, now's the time. If you're leaving stuff out, we need to know everything. We need to be able to go to them and say she's completely 100% honest and truthful with us. We didn't have to give her a polygraph. We didn't have to do any of that stuff. But she told us everything, okay?
And then if I do tell you everything, how am I promised I'm not going to go to jail?
Again,
but I mean, I want to know that I'm not going to go to jail. Like, that's what I want to know. I did not do anything. I didn't conspire anything like you're saying. I didn't plan.
We can't guarantee. But this is what I can guarantee.
I didn't do anything. I didn't conspire anything. My intention is not to hurt anybody.
Listen to me for just a second, because we can't promise you what's going to happen to you. But I can tell you well, the one thing I can guarantee you is if you withhold this information or if you lie about it, you're not just going to go to jail. You're going to go to prison for a very, very long time.
I don't want to go to either or. I don't want to do either.
Tell this man everything you know. Tell the truth. And it starts from there, Amelia. You've got to do it.
So we have this issue of these people really, we're trying to understand it. We want to be able to go to Gerald and explain to him that, Amelia was cooperative.
I am cooperative. I'm telling you as much.
But remember, like I said, though, we have to keep pulling little bits and pieces out of you.
Yeah. I don't know how to just come out and... Yeah.
Right? That's cooperative. Now, let's try again. Is there anything else? I don't know. I mean, I can't keep asking you.
At some point, we got to stop, right?
Is there anything else that you're not telling us right now? Is there anything else? What else is there? Anything about it?
About the whole situation?
Yes.
No, that's all I know. It's so annoying that, like, because he told me...
Okay. Well, let's get to it. We'll kind of
back with you a little bit. Yeah, we'll get you back.
Yeah, we have to get a few minutes.
All right.
And if you guys leave and I forget to tell you something.
You tell us. If we're come back in. It's good when you walk out this building, then it's all bad.
Yeah, it's all.
Okay, so if you remember something, we'll listen. We'll give it 1 second.
The detectives were very close in getting a confession from Amelia, but because she continues to believe that her ignorance will save her, they realize that they will get no further information from her, and they leave the room. They walk down the hall towards the room Joshua is waiting in, not realizing that soon they will be back, and Amelia will confess to everything.
They gave it all away.
Hey, how you doing? Josh?
Oh, yeah.
Cold?
It is cold in
Well,
here.
that water's a little warm, so that might warm you up a little bit.
Geez, yeah, it's cold in here.
Doing all right, buddy?
Yeah.
See, there goes the water.
All right, they got you to the bathroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You wash your hands?
No.
No? Oh, I was gonna say I'll get one of these then.
Yeah.
Detective Ferrer. This is
Yeah, they
Detective.
told me not to wash my hands.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck's going on? Because my wife was like, listen, there's a car outside the house. My mother-in-law was like, there's a car outside the house. I'm like, all right, because then she worked for Chase too, so I guess her branch manager and somebody else got followed the other night after they left work. So we're all like skeptical, like what's going on? We don't know. We don't live that far from her where she works, so
Okay.
I was like, everything going on. I was like, nah, this is not right.
Right. Let me throw this on. We'll go from there.
Okay.
I don't know. Let me ask you this question. I'm gonna throw this out to you. Why do you think you're sitting here right now?
I honestly have no idea.
No idea.
No idea.
Okay.
The detective greets Joshua as if he were an old friend. You can immediately tell that Joshua is very nervous as he stumbles over his words. For almost 10 minutes, Joshua and the detective talk about different things, and not once does he ask why he's there.
See? They spoke, he came in, dapped him up, showed him some love. They laughed. They talked a little bit, got the nerves down. And then, so why do you think you're here? I don't know why I'm here. You tell me why I'm here. You brought me here.
An innocent person would demand to know why they are being taken from their home and forced to sit inside of a small room with the police.
When my schedule from 12 to 9 changed.
It's nice having that weekday off.
Yeah.
I like having the weekday off.
Well, I like the weekday off because I'm going to go to therapy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay. You have a firearm?
I did. I actually bought one last week, Monday. And that was a big argument between me and him. For me, I've always had a gun. I've had a Smith & Wesson. I've always had a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Then after this whole situation, of course, Orange County had the gun. So I was like, we had a thunderstorm. I think it was like Sunday. And I was like, we saw a car pull up in the yard, or I did. And I was like, I don't know who it is. I put the light on, the car drove away. So I'm like, okay, fine. And I was like, things are getting a little crazy where we live. We need some type of protection in the house.
It's cold in here.
Jeez, it was so cold I fell asleep in here. I woke up and the lights were off. And I was like,
Yeah.
See, I want y'all to notice something, right? I want y'all to notice just how they're letting him get comfortable in the interview room. They're letting him talk about having fallen asleep because it was cold. They're letting him talk about how the lights went off. They're asking him about the gun. They're allowing him to talk about his want to protect himself and why he actually went and bought the firearm in the first place. They're letting him talk his own nerves out without pushing him into anything.
How cold the room is, and the detective.
I've always had a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And then after this whole situation, of course, Orange County had the gun. So I was like, we had a thunderstorm. I think it was like Sunday. And I was like, we saw a car pull up in the yard, or I did. And I was like, I don't know who it is. I put the light on, the car drove away. So I'm like, okay, fine. And I was like, things are getting a little crazy where we live. We need some type of protection in the house.
It's cold in here.
Jeez, it was so cold I fell asleep in here. I woke up and the lights were off, and I was like, this has to be a sign.
Yeah.
Joshua makes a comment about how cold the room is, and the detectives pretend to sympathize with his pleas, but in reality, they are keeping the room cold on purpose to increase his anxiety. A person who is cold and uncomfortable will be far more nervous and anxious than someone who is warm and comfortable.
I know I ended up at Alchemy Hookah Lounge around like 11:30 that night. That was on Tuesday. I took a drive to Daytona, and I actually chucked the gun over the damn bridge.
Did you pull over?
No, I was actually parked. I walked
I was just trying to clear my head, and I was just had like a relapse of what happened on my leg, and I was like, just threw the gun.
What time was that at?
Probably like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Joshua claims that he did buy a gun recently from a pawn shop, but because of an argument with his wife, he threw it over a bridge near the Daytona Speedway. The detective realizes that he is trying to separate himself from the weapon, just in case they were able to match the bullets with the gun. If it was true, and he had thrown the weapon away, then it is possible for someone to have picked it up and used it without his knowledge. The detectives, of course, want to eliminate this possibility.
What'd you buy?
It was a Taurus. Another Taurus.
Where'd you get it from?
It's a pawn shop in Winter Garden. I actually was gonna buy another gun from there before. One of my buddies worked there. His name is Doug, but he was on vacation.
Is it like just past like the Ford, I think the Express?
Yeah,
Park?
it's
I think I know what you're talking
Cash. I think it's called Cash Stop Pawn. And I bought my surround sound system from them before.
What did it set you back? How much did it cost
Oh, it
you?
was like $250.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that much.
Did you pay cash?
Yeah, I paid cash for it.
So you went to Daytona. What time did you get back from Daytona?
Probably like 5:30 in the morning. I actually went back to Daytona the other night. We got into an argument.
You went back the other night?
Yeah.
Where do you go in Daytona? Why do you keep going to Daytona?
I back in the day when I used to have arguments with my parents and stuff, I just go for a drive, long drive. Sometimes shit, hell. I know I remember as younger I used to drive from 50 from east all the way west. And just for me I didn't want to be home because I was like, I don't want to argue with her and have another argument. Julian's there, her parents are there. I'm like, just wanted to save an argument. And what was it? I think it was Tuesday. What was today? Thursday?
This Thursday.
Tuesday I went back to Daytona. I went by the they had like the arcade pier where Joe's Crab Shack is area, just for a walk. Then it started pouring. I came back home.
Were you alone when you went to Daytona?
Yeah. One of my coworkers is actually gonna come with me. His name is Ricky.
Which time? The first time or the second time?
The second time.
Without being asked, Joshua brings up the fact that he had gone to Daytona again recently, and then pretends like he is having trouble remembering the day. He is using the trip to Daytona as an alibi, and the day he says he went just happens to be the day he took the lives of Cynthia and Sean.
Okay. So walk me through that. So you get to the fight. You said you went. Where's the first place that you went after that?
I was home.
Mm-hmm.
I left. I was by I know I went to my cousin's shop. I can't remember if that was before or after we fought. And then I went back to my parents' house. And I was like, alright. I came back home. And I was like,
What time did you come back home?
I don't remember.
So you went back to your house.
Mm-hmm.
So
But she was at work. She was
Okay.
at work, so I was like, that's fine.
Okay. Then where?
I think that was around 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I left the house again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just driving around. I was trying to figure out what to do. My buddy was in New York, so I was like, I can't call him. And then I ended up, where did I go? I can't remember what I did. And I was just I drove around for a while.
Mhm.
And then around like 11:30, I ended up going to Alchemy Hoover Lounge.
Where's that at?
That is on Kirkman. I don't know if you know where Colombian Burger is?
Mhm.
Yeah, right there.
So what it sounds like is he's trying to separate himself from having been around the area where the murder could have taken place. So we already know, because he already told us, that after they leave his interview room, the wife is going to snitch on Josh. So I'm going to end this right here. I'm going to upload a part 2, and we're going to see exactly how she snitched on Josh come part 2. If you like things like this, please do hit the like button on the video. It'll definitely support me. And subscribe to the channel as well. There's a lot more coming up besides just reaction videos. I'm gonna have my podcast going on here, which I already have some episodes up. Go ahead and check those out. I am going to have more than just interrogation type reactions on here. I will have some real life things going on as to what's going on with my family and different ways I do things with my children, homework help, things like that. Just pure hearted things that can help you. That's why it's called Growth Quest Podcast. I know a lot of people struggle with trying to figure out how to get their schedules aligned in order to make sure that they're helping their kids with things and they and directly in their children's lives and have involvement with their spouses and all of that other stuff. That'll all be included on this channel. So if that is something that interested you or that is interesting to you, please do hit the like, the share button, or the subscribe button, and the little bell icon so that you're notified when I do upload something. But until next time, Shamel is out.